To steal from the Empire? To just walk in like you belong? They're so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied. They can't imagine that someone like me would ever get inside their house.
Cassian Andor. The Empire is choking us so slowly. We're starting not to notice. What I'm asking is this. Wouldn't you rather give it all to something real? I need all the heroes I can get.
For the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Let's call it war.
There's fermenting out there, son. Pockets of fermenting.
You're in my net. Are you a fish? Or are you a thief?
You're slipping.
I'm not slipping. I've just been hiding for too long.
As long as everyone thinks I'm an irritation, there's a good chance they'll miss what I'm really doing.
What are you really doing?
This is what revolution looks like.
I'm tired of losing.
There you go, folks. This is, of course, the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. I am, of course, the humbled creator and co-host of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, Jeff S., a.k.a. TrueKnowledge, truly humbled more than ever to actually be moderating what's going to be a wonderful, fucking epic, I'll never forget it ever, evening of reviewing and breaking down and recapping episode 11 and 12 of Andor, the Disney Plus series, the Rogue One prequel that might actually be the best TV series I think I've probably watched ever in my life. Possibly. I won't lie to you. It's that fucking good. Like, legit. So, and actually, I won't even lie to you. I like Andor so much that when some asshole on Facebook the other day made fun of it and said he wouldn't even watch it because it was from Disney and whatnot and everything, it was acting like I was a joke for watching it. I just told him to go fuck himself. Straight up. And that was it. I ended the conversation. That was all. I was over it. So, and I didn't need to hear anything else. Anyways, folks, I managed to assemble the usual kick-ass, fucking, dope-ass, best contributors possible guest panel for this. And we're gonna have some people coming on later for episode 12 as well. And we're gonna lose some people, unfortunately, at the end of episode 11. But that's fine. But to start things off, I just want to go ahead and say thank you very much to everybody that's here on the panel and whatnot. Thank you to Cyberneticshark, my co-host, for being on the panel and giving me the opportunity to moderate both of these, both these reviews and give you a chance to, handle your business, man. You know what I'm saying? And toss some fucking profound shit. Good luck though matching up with fucking Stellan Skarsgård or any of that. But either way, so at that point, I also want to thank all of us, our supporters, and I just want to thank everybody for helping us to get to 10,000 subs. Do us a favor, like this. You know what I'm saying? Hit the ring. Ring the bell. Get notified when we're live again. And hey, please subscribe so we can get to episode. Get up to number 15. 20, 25,000. here pretty soon. Beyond that, this is, of course, the Andor episode 11 and 12 recap, breakdown, review, discussion. And from there, I'll just simply say that let me go to the guests. Starting off with you, Keith, since you're your first time on the Bleeding Edge, please go ahead and let everybody know who you are and what you're all about, man, what you're doing.
Hello, everybody. My name is Keith. You can see me at Twitter at Floundery24. I have been kind of just new to the podcast game, but I'm enjoying it so far. I am a movie nerd, Star Wars nerd, comic nerd, everything that you can think of. I also love professional wrestling, and I show up all the time on Place to Be Nation and North South Connection, doing some wrestling podcasts as well as some other pop feed podcasts and stuff like that. So, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much.
Hey, you know what? And I promise you that I will get your information and whatnot and everything, so that when I do the description for the YouTube video and everything on different platforms, I get all your stuff out.
Excellent.
Why do people only call me on Facebook Messenger right during shows? I mean, seriously, of all times. Who the hell? I have to see who this is. Okay, you know what? It's Jasmine, so now I got to answer it. Anyways, Cyber, my friend, how are you?
I'm good, sir. I am good.
Well, that's good to hear, man. Are you ready to rock it and fucking cover some Andor, get after it on the panel or what?
Oh, yes, sir. Looking forward to it. We're looking forward to dissecting the shit.
All right. Well, you know who everybody else is over here. We got Kyle.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm here to talk a little Andor. I would have been here for episode 10, but I can't swim.
So, Kyle, sir, are you excited to do episode 11?
Oh, absolutely. These last two episodes of Andor are absolutely fantastic. And, I mean, I think changed the Star Wars game completely.
Excellent. Yeah, I just realized that talking on the phone. Sorry, Jazz. Talking on the phone and trying to actually moderate shows, obviously, I just realized it doesn't work at all. I'm never going to be doing that again. Sorry about that, Kyle. That was very
That's quite all right.
I did try it, though. You got to give it a shot, right? You know I like to do interesting shit. So anyways, Johnny, my friend, what's going on, brother?
Not much. Just excited to be on the show and talk about Andor episode 11. I definitely agree with Kyle. These two episodes really changed the game, and I'm super excited to see what it all brings up to, especially with season 2 coming back to back.
Well, I'm telling you, man. What about all that? What about all that selfless promotion I've been putting out for you on your podcast and everything and whatnot lately? Go ahead, don't be afraid, Johnny. Let everybody know how I got your back and whatnot. And everything.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely appreciate the videos. For those of you who don't know, I do a podcast called Fuent Chat with Donnie Fuent. Wherever you hear podcasts, I talk about everything comic books, nerds. This upcoming week, I'm definitely going to be talking about the new Puss in Boots movie and Avatar: Way of Water.
Well, I thought you were going to say something about pussy. And I was being like, Johnny, what's wrong with you, man? When do you say things like that, bro? Come on. Like, what do you, is the Bleeding Edge starting to fuck up your ability to speak? Like, no, I'm just kidding. No, but Johnny, anytime, brother. I'm glad to help out and support your content, bro, and whatnot and everything. And believe me, that won't be the only time I ever do it.
I appreciate it, my man.
And just so you know, you're now hashtagged on like 7 different platforms that you're not even known on yet. So your name's already getting circulated already.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying? Just like Kyle already is and all that. So anyways, that's right. I always make sure that I take care of everybody that we work with and whatnot. And doesn't matter what fucking platform we're on. They get hashtagged. So let's start off right at the bat, right, with a simple question. Everybody, and I want to just very, very short, quick answer, nothing too complicated. The trailer I played, right? Start with you, Keith, right? Now we've gotten the whole, we've watched, I know it's been a minute since you finished it, right? But for me and Cyber, we just finished up the episode, the series yesterday. So you tell me, looking back in retrospect, right? Do you feel like that trailer really, I feel like it does a wonderful job of really laying down exactly what we get from the series. Not by like showing us all the best shots, by actually coordinating the trailer in a way that it kind of in a way depicts what actually occurs.
I think yes and no. I think it gives us a good kind of sizzle reel of like things that happen. However, I think that this is a much more thought-provoking show than the trailer would lead you to believe.
That's true.
The trailer does lead you to believe that it's like basically a televised version of like Rogue One, and that is not it at all. I think this is much more of an espionage type show, and that's where I think the big difference between this and like Rogue One and then anything else that they've come out with so far.
Good point, Keith. I've mentioned the espionage angle myself multiple times. Do you ever? I've mentioned that I get this connection between Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Do you get that same vibe?
Absolutely.
And I think maybe I misworded that. I think what I meant to say is they convey the essence of the series. They don't tell you what's going to happen.
Right.
You don't know what you're going to get, but it starts, it percolates.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It builds up.
And also, like, the big misconception that, like, you know, Stellan Skarsgård was looking for Andor because he was looking for it. He's looking for a patsy. He's not looking for a hero. He's looking for a patsy. It's not until the very end that that's what happens, you know, and that he kind of turns this corner and starts to believe in him. I mean, because after the bank heist, basically, it turns into, he's like, we got to kill this guy, you know, and it's like, he knows too much. And I'm like, that's not what's conveyed at all in the trailer. So,
okay.
But not that I hated that. It leads you to believe that, like, Stellan Skarsgård's like this amazing hero. And while he is, it's also like, you don't want to see how the sausage is made, you know?
I look at it like this. I think it was a good move on their part to show him with the robe in the trailer and whatnot, and almost give you that Obi-Wan vibe and whatnot, because because they were throwing the fans off.
Yes.
In terms of what they're really going to get. But Johnny, what do you think, man? I mean, how do you connect? What do you connect from that trailer to the series?
Well, for one, I do agree that the trailer kind of throws you off, especially with you thinking it's going to be high-paced action and all that stuff. All this is going to happen while in reality, it's more espionage. I would actually not compare it to the Winter Soldier, but compare it more to the Good Shepherd or the TV show 24, because it is more thought-provoking. It is asking yourselves the questions you really didn't want to get the answers to. What started the rebellion? What hands had to get dirty for this? And when it comes to Skarsgård's character, he's not a hero at all. He's basically like Matt Damon from The Good Shepherd. He is making questionable decisions. He's getting results, but in a way that is not morally effective, basically becoming the monster to fight the monster. And like I said, the trailer doesn't really show that. And that's what I loved about the show. It just gave us wanting for more, especially with these last 2 episodes.
Okay. Cyber.
All right, people. So we're talking about the trailer, right? So
yeah,
we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. What do you connect, or what are your thoughts on I guess connecting the trailer to the series? What are your thoughts there?
Basically, like I've said before in past reviews, rewatching the trailers every time, I really never notice anything new, but I always enjoyed the trailer. I think it's a really well put together trailer. And how it connects to the show, I don't really see any connection for me. For me personally, I mean, some others might find that, but me personally, I didn't get any connection to it. I just felt that in the trailer, they showed the basic, things to really catch your eye, to want to pull you in, to want to watch the series. And I think they did that. I think they did a good job of bringing out the right points from the show to really catch your eye. Like, for instance, that scene where it shows Coruscant and they go into the big meeting room, like we got to see in one of the previous prequels where Yoda and, Palpatine fight, or they have, different Senate things going on in the prequels that we've seen. That popped out to me when I first saw the trailer the first time, because I'm like, ooh, Coruscant. We're going to see more of Coruscant, which is really cool, which I always enjoyed Coruscant from the original films. And then like that one sequence where it shows the lover of the blonde gal. I forgot her name. Val, thank you. The lover of Val sees the giant ship going across. That was cool. And then, of course, any of those scenes that really had something epic going on in them really pulled that in. And I thought that, it, like I said, I thought it did the job to get you enticed to want to watch the series. And that's how I felt, and I still feel for this trailer, even after seeing it 12 times now, probably 20 times. But yeah, I mean, it's a decent trailer that really entices you to want to watch the series. And I agree that it definitely pulls that in to bring you into wanting to watch the series.
That's Cinta. Her lover in the Rebel. That's Cinta. So at that point, then Kyle, your thoughts, sir?
I agree with what Cyber said. This trailer was the bait trailer. This was the trailer to give everybody the feel, the Star Wars fans, the feel like this is another Star Wars show. Yes, it's going to be a little different. It's a little bit of that Rogue One type feel to it, but it doesn't give everything away. It gives you just enough to be intrigued by it and pull you in. With the hope is that you're, because of what you've seen in the trailer, because of how this show is kind of formatted, especially in the beginning, that it's going to let people kind of stay on the ride until the things pick up with Andor. And I think what this trailer does is it hits all the key Star Wars notes. It gives everybody a little bit of their favorite Star Wars flavor, a little bit of those like old Baskin Robbins kind of tasters they used to let you have so you could try a flavor out. That's what this trailer did. It gave you a little bit of everything that's going on with Andor, but not giving you the full experience of it either, and leaving some surprises to be had. This, like I said, this was to draw in all the Star Wars fans. They kind of put a little bit of the basic bait on there, and little did they know what they were going to get was the space whale with that bait, because they were pulling in one of the best Star Wars shows that we've ever had, as far as I'm concerned, with Cassian Andor.
Did someone freeze for me too?
No, what happened?
Nope.
Kyle froze.
I didn't
notice anything. No, I think we're okay. I haven't noticed anything, but I appreciate that, Johnny. No, thanks for bringing that up. So basically, coming off episode 10, y'all. Obviously, we all know how profound that all was. I mean, that whole situation, it was really extremely profound. Just the one thing I've really found very interesting about this whole series has been the continuation and the fluidity of just this great story being played out from episode to episode, episodically. In 12 episodes, it's just so well done. Like, I don't feel like there's a filler episode. Now, other people may disagree with me. I don't feel like there is, but that's just me. There are some episodes that are slow and suppositional. Maybe I don't agree. I don't think the episodes are too long. I think maybe they could have shaved an episode or two off, but maybe did it in 10, and it might have been a little bit more effective. But at the same time, who knows? Whatever. So bottom line, I just like to really quick go around, and I'll start with you, Kyle. Go right back to you. What coming into episode 10, if you can remember, going into episode 11, what was your take on where things were going?
I was very excited for where things were going. First of all, since I wasn't here to be able to talk about episode 10, I just got the tour de force that Andy Serkis was in that 3-episode arc was absolutely phenomenal. I hope he gets some recognition somewhere in the award season for that. But coming off of that prison break and that powerful moment of literally I can't swim, and just leaving off that note, and then coming into this episode going, okay, what direction is Cassian going now? Because that's the one thing that makes Andor work so well is, yes, you have Cassian Andor, who's the main character of the show, but it's about the events that are going around Cassian Andor that he finds himself getting involved in. It's not so much, he's seeking these out. He's just somehow getting himself involved in these events, and you're kind of seeing these events through his perspective. But to have these mini story arcs that have gone through Andor, and especially this jailbreak and everything that happened there, and really we start seeing, I think it was really that arc that we really start seeing Cassian's having this change of mind about the Empire and getting more involved with the rebellion and things of that nature. And then they come into this episode just going, where are they going to pick? I think one of the biggest questions was where they were going to pick up after the end of episode 10, and the fact that they literally pick up just not too far after what episode 10 is, I think was actually a very wise decision. I would have kind of been disappointed if we kind of missed out on the part where how did he get off planet? What got him to where his next step was, because of how the nature of the show is flown. So really some really great choices by the creative staff, and just as always, phenomenal acting in this show.
Okay, Johnny, your thoughts. What were your thoughts going into episode 11?
I do agree. Going to episode 11, I was worried that there was going to be some type of skip where we're like, oh, okay, we're just going to go with whatever they say is how they got off the planet. And them starting off with those 2 aliens, you're thinking, oh my God, they're going to turn them in. And then it turns to, oh no, we hate the Empire too. Hop on. I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was really cool. And it's funny because it's one of the few times we actually get to see another alien species on the show, which is very odd because, I mean, even with the prison, you'd figure that there'd be other alien species. But like I said, going into episode 11, after the phenomenon that was 10, was pretty nice. And I did like how they kind of slipped in some like, oh, okay, lightheartedness to it instead of like still continue with the bleak, just to give us a little buffer before the rest of the episode.
Keith, do you feel like going, if you can remember, try to think back going into episode 11, did you already feel a sense that the series was doing a really good job of building up suspense over time very slowly and in a very like veiled way, almost like not in like, you know, a very like observable or like affrontable way, you know what I mean, but they were conveying it with through different aspects. And did you enjoy that? Did you feel like a sense of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's not forget that the show's written Tony Gilroy, who did the Bourne movies, and I think that with that, you know, there's that suspense that's getting built. I mean, again, I kind of go back and say that this is a spy movie. This is a movie about espionage. This is a movie where, or this is a show rather, where you're supposed to be building that slow suspense, you know? And I think what does the note say?
Hold on, I'm trying to show you. Hold on.
Okay. And
see it?
it's just, oh yeah.
Barely.
There it is, folks.
Something Tony Gilroy.
That's actually
Tony
the
Gilroy is a genius.
That's a recipe that's a recipe for cooking up crack. Actually, yeah. No, it says Tony Gilroy is a fucking genius.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I think that that's the case. Is that, you know, they built suspense very well in this show. I mean, even, you know, going back just to kind of piggyback on, you know, you thought that those other aliens were going to turn them in. And especially since how easily they were caught, and you're like, oh shit, you know, now they're going right back to that. Because that was the first thing on my mind, is I was like, wait a minute, they get off of this prison, they get off the raft, and now they have to swim to shore, and then what happens? So, and I like that it took it a little lighthearted at the end, where it said like, okay, yeah, we hate them too, here we go, let's go, and I like that.
Okay, Cyber, same question.
So, going from episode 10 into episode 11, my thoughts basically going in were, I'm interested in seeing where this goes. I was definitely thinking, oh, you know, are we going to see more of certain characters we haven't seen before? Are we going to see more of Cyril? Are we going to see more of Val? Are we going to see more of Cinta? Are we going to see more of that Imperial officer gal, which her name escapes me at this moment? You know, basically, what is episode 11 going to bring that's going to bring us to that 12th episode, basically? And I kind of was sitting there kind of thinking a little bit about it, thinking, you know, hopefully it's better than this last episode. Hopefully there's more action in it, you know, and stuff like that. And, you know, it started off good, you know, very good. I have to agree with Johnny. Seeing those 2 alien guys was really awesome. And I thought that was a good start off, you know, right after Cassian and the other guy that escaped with him get onto that, you know, to the shore and running through there. And they basically, you know, capture them, but then realize that they hate the Empire just like them. And, you know, it definitely, you know, going into it, I was just going, I hope they start really rounding out everyone's story so that we can get it clear and concise, you know, where what they want to do and where they're going to start, you know, to get it ready for season 2. So that's really kind of my thoughts on what I was looking for going into 11 and 12, and wanting to see exactly how are they going to, wrap this up at a certain point to bring us to want to have a second season. And that's kind of what was rolling through my mind going into this episode.
Those were Narkians, the aliens, and you're thinking about Mon Mothma, and the actress's name is Genevieve O'Reilly that you were talking about there for a minute, I believe, right?
No, the Empire gal.
Deidre.
Yeah.
Deidre. Yeah.
Deidre Moreau. Yeah. Honestly, and we'll talk about it later, but like, I don't hate her as much as you do, Cyber. But later on in episode 12, when like shit got hairy for her for a minute and whatnot, I was hoping she would be killed. I won't lie. You know what I'm saying? Not as badly as I want to see cunt face Kit on Willow die in the finale, because I do want to see her die. I do. If they're gonna do a second season of Willow, if they don't kill Kit first, I'm not watching it. It's that simple. There you go. Disney Plus. I'm giving you some free advice right here. Either way, so let's get into the first episode. Let's get for some reason I keep confusing episode 11 and 1. Let's get into episode 11. Now look, I'm going to be very short with my breakdowns of the scenes. I don't want to talk much. I want to let you guys watch those episodes. You talk. I've got really simple questions. I'm not going to exfoliate deeply and break down these scenes piece to piece and pick them apart. I'm going to go with just real quick themes. Let you guys fill the gaps in. All right. Pick your words. Do your fucking thing. So at that point, if I miss anything or if I cut anything short or whatever, and you feel like this needs to be talked about, just handle your business. Put it out there. If it's stupid as fuck, it's all good. I'll still like it. Anyway, so basically, when it comes to where we're going into from a factual, tangible standpoint, what we're really working with officially going into Daughter of Ferrix is a situation where we have, a crescendo type, epic breakout episode where we, with Attack, with Andy Serkis's performance and whatnot and everything that was powerful, impactful, profound. And really, that episode really was the episode where I feel like the whole Narkina 5 deal was what really started to really swing Cassian and throughout his evolution to the rebellion. And, we got the Empire heavily searching for Cassian to get to Axis. There was a breakout from the Kino 5, and then, Luthen going down the path of realizing how ruthless and unethical and treacherous and the sacrifices he's going to have to make in order for the rebellion to do its thing. And then at the same time, in her own way, in her own personal way, Mom Martha, in her own different role, having that same dichotomy in her life, right? Just in a more personal way. So we go into at that point, we go into things right at the bat with Cassian. We have no idea what happened with the rest of the inmates because all we have is Cassian and Melfi. They're climbing like these rocks, I think, or like a rock cliff on this island, and essentially just climbing up and talking and looking for a ship to get the hell out of there because essentially Cassian wants to go see Marva. You know what I'm saying? Like, he misses her, whatever, and they want to get the hell out of there too. So at that point, we then go to and there's a lot of scene quick jumps from scene to scene in episode 11. Then in 12, it's just like rapid. You're just from characters to characters to characters. Sometimes there's not even dialogue, right? It's intense to catch up with and whatnot and try to outline. But either way, basically, Melshi, and Cassian are climbing, and Melshi, I believe, if I'm correct, and anybody can, tell me if I'm wrong, but Keith, Kyle, Johnny, isn't Melshi the one character that's actually in Rogue One?
Correct.
Yeah.
It doesn't go well for him in Rogue One.
He's a rebel in Rogue One. Yeah. So either way, so then
is he the guy that's at the very, very beginning?
Yes.
That finds Cassian in the alleyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering where was he?
Same actor? Like they got the actor again? I mean, I know the movie was only a couple years ago.
It's him. Everybody. The only, and then obviously the other connection too is of course Mon Mothma, but that's a different actress than the actress that played the other Mon Mothma. And I'm just this is one selfless plug I'll make. Genevieve O'Reilly, as far as I'm concerned, is Mon Mothma, and I'm not just saying this just whatever. I think that her performance in the fucking Andor series is award winning. I really do. It's that good. It's captivating to me. It's the same level as Dune, and that woman who played the mother. What's her name? I forget. Lady Jessica. She was outstanding too. Either way, they both have that same regal quality about them, which I like.
Rebecca Ferguson was the actress who played the mother in Dune.
Yes, she was outstanding. I don't know if she got nominated for anything and whatnot, but I thought that she was absolutely. I thought she was one of the best actresses in the Dune film. Besides, obviously, well, we won't get into that, but so basically, we then go into a situation where we went off episode 10 not really knowing what the deal was with Marva, except that she was sick. Well, at this point, we pretty much figure out right from jump through what's going on around them, and a scene with B2 EMO and Brasso. Brasso basically is asking B2 EMO, do you want to go see her? I'll leave you alone for a minute with her if you want and whatnot and everything. And at that point, obviously, she's dead. At that point, I wasn't sure whether or not BTEMO can understand death. I really couldn't tell whether he's able to grasp that concept or not, or something. He's so emotional and seems so intelligent. I assume he does get it, but I don't know. And he says he doesn't want to be alone, right? Like you see his emotion. Nice to see him back in the show again. And essentially, although I didn't really know what was happening at that point, the daughters of Ferris are already starting the funeral procedures, which we'll explain later. But at that point, right off that, essentially, Brasso explains, and this becomes key to EMO, that he can't leave, or do anything with Brasso, because he's needed. He's necessary for the daughters of Ferrix, need him for what's going to unveil down the road. I found that to be very poignant. At that point, we go back to Andor, Melshi. They're stuck in the desert. They're looking for an escape ship. They find one, to get back to Marva. And basically, I can't remember what kind of ship it was, but they found one, and they're thinking about stealing it. And then we jump to Cinta at a bar. This might have been before, I'm not sure, but either way, she's across the street from Marva's house, still on watch, on guard, looking for Cassian, looking for an opportunity to kill Cassian. And she's surveilling what's going on and everything and whatnot. And basically at that point, if I understand the procession that they were explaining, and they explained this later on, well, all that was going on basically was essentially a tradition where I guess they do what? They incinerate or whatever or whatnot, or burn the bodies of the dead, and then basically make them a part of the wall or something like that or whatever, or is it something like that?
Yeah,
they make them a brick that goes into this wall.
Yes. Okay. So yes. So they're it's part of the tradition. At that point, she's just chilling, and basically, the Empire also at that point, we see really quickly, is setting a trap, an obvious trap here for Cassian. Everybody wants Cassian to come back, essentially. Everyone in episode 11 and 12, we're waiting for Cassian, to some degree, for different reasons. And at that point, Deidre Morrow allows the funeral to be allowed for Marva as a strategic plan by the ISB to catch Cassian alive, to get the Axis. And the tradition is explained to Deidre there, where we find out what it's all about. And I'll stop there. So I'll start with you, Keith. Now, it's on you. I mean, whatever you want, whatever you'd like to take out of that part of the, I guess I'd say probably maybe the first 15% of the episode. Go ahead, have at it, man. Whatever you want.
I mean, I think that you kind of did a full review of that. I mean, I think that it's a good setup to to see where everybody's head's at right now. I think that obviously the main driving point is for Cassian to get back so that he can be there to pay his last respects to his mother. I did say I will say I do like that he went back to that beach community, that Miami Beach area, and he broke into that hotel room and was still able to find his money. So I was like, oh, that's nice. I actually was like, I kind of had like an old man moment where I went, oh, I'm glad that money was safe up in that shower head. That's really good. So I was kind of glad that he was able to get his credits, because poor guy went through all that bullshit to get the credits, and then he gets arrested for freaking going out to get a cup of coffee. So that sucks for him. So no, I mean, I think that the first part of that episode sets it all up, and like you said, everybody's out to get Cassian, but it gives you everybody's like MO for that episode. So yeah, I like that.
Most definitely. Appreciate that, Keith. Johnny, what were your thoughts? What did you take out of that part of the episode?
For one, like Keith said, the old man thing, I was there like, I guess no one really does check above the shower head. But yeah, no, I really liked how it kind of gave that conclusion with him and his partner being basically, after surviving the prison, just going on their separate ways until they reunite in a way that's not fun for either of them. But anyway, I did like it. I did like how everyone was after, of course, Andor, how dirty the ISB was starting to get, especially with their tactics. I did like, one thing I did love was learning about about the culture of the planet, especially with the sisters, about how they view death. Because that's the one thing we don't really see in Star Wars more often, is just other planets' cultures. Usually we saw it in the animated series, the Clone Wars, but seeing it in live action was definitely different. And I mean, it's not the first time we've seen another planet's culture with this. During the heist episode, we got to see exactly their thoughts, that planet's natives' thoughts on stuff. So it was really nice. I did feel bad for what is the droid's name again?
B2EMO.
BMO. I was just, oh my god, it was basically like if a dog lost its owner, and it was so sad because if you remember from previous episodes, he was with them through the husband's death, through everybody, and for him to basically feel that loneliness really hit home, especially if you've ever had a pet or anything that you've known that you had to adopt because their owner had passed. So it was really, I thought the episode was really great, especially laying the foundation for what was to come next, especially with episode 12.
Most definitely. I agree. Cyberneticshark. Now, for you, I guess, going to episode 11, with these scenes, right? What were you taking out of it? And then at the same time, I guess, what did you feel like, about, I guess, the fact that we did get aliens, right? We do see the aliens there and whatnot. I think it was Johnny that mentioned we didn't have much aliens in the series. Without getting into their discussion, that was neat, right?
Mm-hmm. It was very neat. Both of those creatures were really cool. I like that was like one of the, I think, beginning points of the episode that was good. And I liked how they were speaking in their own language, stuff like that. And Andor and the other guy that was caught, they were trying to kind of talk themselves out of them doing whatever they were going to do to them, and just kind of navigate between them, and getting that cool other extraterrestrial vibe going on was a nice little treat in this episode. Overall, the beginning part of this, episode, I would say was interesting. Like I said, I really enjoyed the aliens. I thought that, kind of them talking about all the different things, including about Maeve and or Marv, I should say, her passing, unfortunately, which I kind of felt was coming because of just how she was acting last time we saw her. And I think that, that whole encompassing there was it was a good tie-in to like bring everyone together into doing the soup that they try to acquire in this episode and in the second episode as well, episode 12. And yeah, I think that the beginning part of this episode was decent. Nothing really was very great about it, but at the same time, I think there was some good pivotal moments that really helped the story go along. And I thought that, pretty much that's what that first section of the episode was.
Johnny, did I already ask you for your thoughts?
Yes.
Okay, who did I miss? You, Kyle?
Yep.
All right, Kyle.
So we got the penultimate episode here.
Yeah, go ahead.
And in this first part, what's really interesting is they had a lot of fun with it. You have the two aliens, and they kind of almost are trolling Andor when they capture him, making fun about, oh, we're hungry, we're going to eat him. They've destroyed our water, destroyed this planet that we were from, and so that was a fun little scene. But we're really starting to see the different chess pieces finding their position on the board before we go into episode 12. And there's still some big moments in this episode we haven't, I know we'll address here shortly. But in within this section, I do have one question that I want to ask everybody here on the panel, because before you had watched episode 12, was there a little bit of thought in your head that maybe Marva was still alive and they were playing kind of this game to get her off the planet? And so they kind of maybe were playing a little bit of a fake her death kind of game here, because I could see, just based off of some of the things they talked about with things that happened in Marv's past when Andor was growing up and things like that, that could have been an angle they were playing. I didn't think it 100%, but I was kind of getting like, they could be doing this stuff, setting up this whole funeral and this whole thing, and knowing that the Empire would allow for this funeral. What I liked about it was it did give you that possible, like, this could go a couple different directions. It wasn't just set, quote unquote, set in stone or set in a brick per se. They kind of put a little bit of, in your mind, a little bit of flexibility about it at that point. There could be some interesting stuff going on here. Again, this is before having watched episode 12, but I really, that was one of the aspects I liked of it. But I mean, we really don't get into the meat of the episode until we get a little bit farther and talk about a couple of the major meetings that happened in this episode.
Most definitely, I agree. And also, I just want to point out that Andor Season 2, of course, is officially set. It is not expected to release on Disney Plus until fall 2024.
Yeah, I think they're getting ready to start filming in March for Season 2.
It doesn't say. I didn't dig that deep, but I got that. I'm sorry, Kyle. I should have delivered more, baby.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm learning.
You're good.
I'm learning, baby. I'm learning. I'm trying. Anyway, so is there anything? Now, of course, a couple of you went ahead and launched into the alien conversation, which was actually kind of funny. I thought, like, comedic, yet like at the same time, like, interesting, because they weren't stupid. Like they could actually talk. They weren't like the Tuscans. You know what I mean? Like, they were actually with it. So I actually found that humorous. There wasn't much humor in Andor, right? I mean, seriously. So like at that point, you take what you can get. Whatever. Is there anything you got? Anybody out there? Anybody here that wants to mention anything that hasn't been brought up from that part of the episode? Just to put it out there. Anybody? No, we good? Okay. All right. Moving on. So from there, all right, we go right into essentially. Of course, at this point, Cassian and Melshi have tried to attack. They tried to get the ship. And yes, the Narkians grab them and shit and whatnot, and they web them up, like net them up with their gun, and like they fool around with them. I think they're just like tricking them the whole time. They're like, oh, fuck the Empire, we don't even care. The Empire's a piece of shit too. It's just like you. They're kind of playing with them. They think they're gonna die. They release them, and they're like, oh, you want to go to wherever? Here you go. They give them the ship and let them leave. I think I forget the exact name of where they wanted to go, but I have it written down here somewhere. So basically that, they leave that island, and then we get to Bell meeting with Clea. And I thought this was one of Clea's best scenes in the entire series. I really did, because it very much to me mirrored Luthen's speech in episode 10, to what's his name? The ISB spy. Where basically Bell meets up at the shop, with Clea at Luthen's place, and they're arguing because Val wants to talk to of course, to Luthen, wants to give him information, and doesn't want to talk to her, give it to her, and they kind of squabble a little bit, talk some shit to each other, and Val's kind of like straight up like fucking insults her and is like, "What have you fucking done lately?" You know what I'm saying? Like, I did all Donnie, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I got skin in the game. And like right there, Clea like dropped some profound shit on her, like that, almost like in a very, very short, tight way. I thought connected very deeply to Luthen, right? Which sort of shows you their connection, I thought. But basically just tells her, something along the lines of like, you have no idea how many like different, things I'm juggling right now besides you and your bullshit right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're in play. But either way, great scene. Essentially, Clea asks her to go ahead and convey the information to her, and that she'll relay it to Luthen. The information, of course, being that Marva's dead. The death of Marva, its importance to everyone, to all factions involving Cassian, is the major theme of both episodes. And essentially, well, again, we see the Empire watching the funeral preparation. They're right there. They're right near. They're right by. Right near probably where the rebels are like are surveying what's going on, like Cinta with what's going on with Marva and whatnot. They're watching the Empire, so the Empire's already planning their trap over on Ferrix. Back to BTMO, Brasso is explaining to him that Marva's dead, and that he has to stay. That he is asked by BTMO, who is like lonely or scared or whatever. He says, I can stay one more day with you or whatever and whatnot. And of course we find out what his powerful thing he has to do is later on. But back to Bix, who is still in the custody of the ISB, and looks as if she has not slept in probably like 5 days. Essentially, like she doesn't look like she's been tortured. She looks like she's been like sleep deprived, and psychological torture, essentially. She has some like almost I think flashbacks in her head, or programming that had to do with Dr. whatever the frig his name was that went to work on her, from the ISB, and they bring her in to interrogate her some more. And essentially, they show her an image of Krieger, right? And they ask Krieger if Krieger is Axis, whoever met with Cassian on Ferrix. She refuses to respond. And then as they show her face and her not willing to speak, you hear in the background, and this becomes something that becomes carried over throughout the episodes. You hear imposed over her the sound of essentially where the hell was I? Oh, I apologize. You hear basically as she's being threatened, the prayers essentially of, I think they're prayers or like parts of the tradition of Mom Mothma's daughter, right? Having to do with the their tradition, I believe, involving arranged marriage, if I'm correct. That was connected to that same type of religion or faith that they follow. And essentially that's played over, Bix. Then we jump from there. And at that point we have Belle meeting up with Mom Martha, and we hear, the daughter with her like group or whatever, whatnot, doing their chanting their shit. And I really enjoyed the Val Martha dynamic. I do. Their scenes are great. And Mom Martha explains her predicament essentially to Val, the missing $400,000 or whatever. The Empire is circling in on her with this missed money, that she's scared. Belle obviously is afraid for her. And essentially at that point, Mom Martha, in a very depressing facial expression, says, I have a solution. And as she looks at her daughter directly, she cries. You see her openly weep. as like right there. She's just probably for the first time ever actually like declared to someone publicly that she's doing what like was proposed to her in episode 10. You know, and that I thought that was very deep. I did. Just wonderful as usual from her. Now Cyril, of course, who is still around. We get a quick scene with him where he doesn't get a visitor, but he gets like a video chat, like a video call from who else? Sergeant Musk, who is like either working or been transferred or some shit to some remote shithole world or whatever, where like he's in a fucking hurricane in it or whatever. He's video messaging Cyril to let him know he's got info on Cassian. You know, at that point, his ability to speak to Cyril is very broken up. It's distorted. The line's distorted. Cyril isn't able to hear everything he's saying, but essentially what he does pick up from it is that you know, essentially Sergeant Mosk is translating, letting him know that Marv's dead, right? You know, letting him know, hey, Cassian's probably going to show up on Ferrix for the funeral. And you know, we now go to Cassian on Neamos, you know, which of course was, you know, where he wanted to go with the ship. And we see, I guess, that scene that you were talking about earlier, Keith, with like where it looks like Miami Beach, right? That's what I thought too. I'm like, it literally looked like I was at a hotel on the beach, Miami Beach. So I guess before we go into Luthen going to see Saw, I'll stop there. I'll start with you, Cyber. Sir, what did you take out of all the different dynamics that occurred during that segment of this episode? You know, in terms of all the different stuff we get with Bix being, you know, interrogated again and threatened again and whatnot and everything in that deal. You know, there's a lot of scene jumping, right? There is, you know that, right? And so at that point, you pick and choose. What did you find out of that for you found profound, maybe, or indicated something to you that like where you had an idea where things were going?
Okay. So none of this did I find profound, but I did find some of it entertaining. I definitely think the whole Bix thing has run its course. I don't get why they decided to keep bringing her back into the mix. I don't feel like we really needed her. She ratted them out because they tortured her, and I feel like there was really no need. So even more so in episode 12 when we get more to her about her, I just didn't care for that. I didn't feel like it was very necessary. It's kind of like with Cyril too. Going back to Cyril here, I did enjoy the whole thing with him and the video message and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that. But once again, Cyril really didn't go anywhere either, as we mentioned in previous episode talks. I feel like we said that Cyril was going to end up being something serious, but as we'll see later on, he really wasn't. And so I feel this sequence really wasn't necessary either. But at the same time, I thought it was entertaining with how he was corresponding with the other guy on the video, them trying to, you know, get this message across to each other. And the guy kept like, you know, saying, yeah, my mom's fine. And all this kind of stuff was really funny. So I really enjoyed that portion of it. And, I mean, leading up to that, I mean, the whole conversation with Val and Mon Mothma and kind of that whole scenario there, her briefly talking with her, what was it, Insista? Is that what her partner's name is? Insista or something like that?
Cinta?
Yeah, Cinta, thank you. And that little brief conversation totally I felt was unnecessary too. And it just these little jumping from spots to spots, just I feel, in my opinion, just don't make sense to me, or I don't feel makes the episode any better. I rather them kind of take a storyline, finish it off, and then move on to the next episode, you know, next portion of the story, so that you're not like constantly going, okay, so what part am I watching now? Like, where are we at again with this, and where are we at with this? So I think that little section of the episode has some good parts, but at the same time, I think that the jumping back and forth, I feel it's unnecessary.
Now, Johnny, what do you think about what Cyber just said? I like the jumping from scene to scene, and I also want to just put out there, Cyber, again, We don't know. They may. I think the only reason that they may have actually just shown Bix the way they did, not as filler, but to keep her relevant for something they're setting up in season 2. You see what I'm saying? And same thing with Cyril. They're going to do something with Cyril. He is going to do something impactful. It's just not going to happen now. It's going to happen in season 2. That's just my take. I could be wrong. Johnny, what are your thoughts on what Cyber had to say? And then,
so when it
go ahead.
comes to Bix, I actually have to disagree. I think the reason why they were showing her was because to show the consequences of Andor's action. Because remember, she was because if you remember back in the previous episodes, the reason why they're all in this mess is because of Andor. Who's to suffer the consequences of everything that happened was Bix, especially after her boyfriend was the one who was killed by the Empire because of his actions, because of what he thought. So, and on all honestly, I think the reason why they keep showing Bix, especially if she didn't really do anything after her being captured, was just showing how the consequences that Andor partook basically led to the people he loved. One thing about Cyril, I do agree that, I mean, besides, of course, that really interesting moment where you could probably play some romantic music in episode 12, he really wasn't that big. I did like how they brought back the Scottish dude. Hey, Cassian Andor's mother's dead and stuff like that. I'm really hoping they do something with him in season 2, especially with that ISB agent, because I mean, you have so many people shipping them right now. It's kind of funny. Like the romance of romance better than Twilight. But one thing that really impacted me for this episode of Andor, and I want to say it was in episode 11, was the fact that Mon Mothma's daughter was for the engagement. Like she was already going, talking to the religious person. She was already taking steps. And the fact is that it was heartbreaking for Mon Mothma because she was like, she saw this as this big curse, but for some reason her daughter thought it was something else. Even when it was talking about her cousin was like, no. And it was like she's the one who picked it out himself. So it was kind of interesting to see how for Mon Mothma, this was a terrible curse, but for her daughter, it was something totally different. So like I said, that was the one thing that struck me as interesting for this episode of the scene so far. Like I said, I want to say that was episode 11, but yeah.
Okay, most definitely. Now, Keith, your thoughts. What was there anything that really you took out of that you feel is worth talking about?
I think there's a huge allusion to Mon Mothma, to kind of what Johnny's saying. I agree with, and that there's an allusion, I think, for freedom from the Empire, as well as freedom from the traditional what lifestyle that a woman must have in this universe. And I think that with her seeing her daughter, one of the reasons why she starts to get really emotional about it is because here's this person who's this, very powerful senator. She's, got devious plans to upset the apple cart with the Empire, and yet her daughter's following in like the same footsteps and the same path as probably centuries of women before her, where she just kind of caved and bowed down to, whatever religion it is, or whatever, male figure is going to be coming in to take and domineer over her. And I think there was just, there's a big allusion to that, or, an allegory or whatever, that not only is she fighting for the rights of everybody in the galaxy, but she's also fighting for every female right out there to be able to do whatever it is that they want to do.
Most definitely. I see. I get exactly where you're coming from. I do. Now, Kyle, what would you have to say, sir?
So I want to hit a couple things. First of all, with Bix, I think this is actually very important. Do we see her in this state? We've seen her take probably more torture than a lot of others have with that particular torture they were using on her, with the sounds and the effect it's had on her mentally and physically as well. And I think I think we need to understand that there's more of a connection between Bix and Andor than just, oh, they're friends.
Yes.
There is definitely more feeling there, and I think that's going to be something that's going to be played up because we don't know what kind of true condition Bix is in, even as we go into episode 12 and season 2. Can she be trusted after all of this torture that she's been through? I think that's going to be an interesting subplot. As far as Mothma goes, I think what's really interesting here and what they're playing up is the price of choice. She has made this choice to fight the Empire, fight for the freedom of the galaxy, but it's costing her things in her family and having her to do things that is costing her personally, and mainly it's her daughter. And we see her daughter embracing this horrid tradition that both not only Mon wants not her to be part of, but her cousin also does not want to be part of it, but she's embracing it totally. And Mon can't really fight this because she needs to get out of the jam she's put herself in by her own decisions, and she can't give herself up for fear of hurting the rebellion. So she's put into this no-win situation, and she's now dealing with the price of being part of this rebellion. And I think that's been one of the undercurrent themes throughout this first season of Andor is what is the price that you're willing to pay to fight for your freedom and fight for what you believe in. I really think that has been an undercurrent throughout this first season with several characters, and we're still seeing it develop. And I think some of it comes to a head in episode 12, but right here within this episode 11, we're seeing it from everybody's different angle of what the price is and who's willing to pay and how far they're willing to go. And I think that's very important because I think that's really going to be a theme that's going to really start paying off as we get into season 2.
Okay, most definitely. So at that point, I guess what I would say would be, the next, I guess, poignant, aspect of what then evolves into the rest of the episode 11, would be the scene that I thought where we didn't get much Forrest Whitaker at all as Saw in the series, and I'm assuming we'll get more in season 2. Let's hope, right? But now he's also in Rogue One, right? I believe, guys. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Now, essentially, Luthen goes to see Saw, and Saw's ready to rock and roll, right? He's ready to go help out Krieger and help him out with the operation and whatnot, the attack on that installation or whatever. And Luthen just comes right out and is like, "Nah, that's not going down. There's no point because ISB already knows about Krieger and whatnot and everything, and I'm not telling them about it, right? It's up to you if you want to tell them. You want to tell them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not one of them. I'm gonna let those 30 people die and Krieger because it's a tactical, strategic move, right? It provides an opportunity for them, while at the same time he explains to them it softens up the Empire and the ISB. It puts them back in that relaxed state where they feel like they have so much control and they're so powerful that they're untouchable, right? And at that point, basically, I find this very interesting. I'd love to hear you guys all of you talk about this. These scenes where you're seeing like even Saw, who we know is like from the Clone War shit and whatnot, is like a diehard. Like, he's down to kill people or whatever. He don't even care. Like, he's all about blowing shit up and attacking, doing stuff and whatnot. Like, he's all about it. You can see, just look at his like little layer or whatever. Everywhere you look, he's got like armed thugs and everything and whatnot. They look like they're gangsters. They look like they're a gang or some shit, like pirates, almost but either way, bottom line, even Saw is like, are you kidding me? Like, even he's like, that crosses his ethical line. He's like, you're gonna let these fuckers die? Like, seriously? And at that point, Luthen like explains to him with a gun to his head, yo, this is why I'm doing this is what's going on. And then we get the profound from the trailers drop of like, Forrest Whitaker being like, what did he say? Let's call it war. And Luthen says, something about, something for the greater good or something like that or whatever and whatnot. That shit was profound. But just from there, I just want to go around. I'll start with you, Keith. What did you think of that whole scene? Those two actors playing those characters and that whole dialogue.
The only thing that I was a little disappointed with, and believe me, I understand the concept of the greater good, and sometimes you got to lose pawns in order to get the king. But I think that because there's this whole setup in the previous episode where he's where they're having this conversation, the spy within ISB and all that kind of stuff, and the only thing that I didn't like is that I don't think it would have made a difference if Saw Gerrera and his allies kind of went to go and join up in the fight there, because we have to assume that even though it's a somewhat of a fractured rebellion right now, because it's not but there's still going to be some form of hierarchy at the top, and that there's these kinds of things do not just go it's not like a whole bunch of little pockets. And I think that's where ISB and that woman, I can't remember her name, but she was right. Where she's right. She's like, everything is connected. And I think that they already know that. So it's like, all right, they already know that. As long as they don't know like the deep cover operatives, like they knew who Saw Gerrera was. They know that he's they know Cassian Andor. As long as they don't understand, as long as they don't know who the deep cover people are, and you keep those known like fugitives out of the hands, it's fine. And that's where they could have gone.
Let me interrupt you just real quick, Keith, because that's the importance of Saw Gerrera not going on that mission, because Saw Gerrera can identify Luthen. He's seen him, where Luthen has never had interactions with Krieger. So that was why it was so important that Saw Gerrera keep his forces from that battle.
Yeah, because if he gets captured, X, Y, and Z, okay, makes sense then.
No, it's an overall good move. Kyle, go ahead, jump in, go ahead.
Okay, so with this scene, what's so great about this scene is you have the two characters in Andor who already understand paying the price. Now they see it from different angles. Saw is an extremist. He's overly paranoid from everything he's been through. Probably a few other reasons why too. But here you have Luthen, who's really kind of the grand chess master of this season, moving his parts around but trying to protect himself. Everybody is a pawn to him. There's not really a queen or anything like that. They're all his pawns on the board. And here, we see it most cold-bloodedly here with Krieger. Krieger, he's willing to sacrifice another pawn and his army to protect himself and to protect what he feels is the much more important asset, which is his inside source in the ISB. And we see where Luthen understands the price of things he's paying for. While there's so many characters around this season of Andor that are just learning and understanding about the price of things within this rebellion, where Luthen and Saw both have a complete understanding, just some different approaches. But at the end of the day, they are able to meet and have a different view, even though their views are slightly askew from each other. There's the general understanding of the cost. And while they might not agree with it, they might not like the methods, they understand it and are willing to pay that price. And I think that's where you compare them to the other characters, and the other characters haven't decided yet completely. Are they willing to pay that price, or they're in a position where they have no choice but to pay that price? So I think that's where we get to see the interesting dynamic between Saw and Luthen in this particular scene, where they're just on a different level than everybody else with their understanding of what's going on.
Well, yes, and Johnny, going to you. Now, one thing that really starts to build up also in this scene, and it's really been building up across the series after, I'd say probably after Aldhani, right? After the heist, especially with Mount Motha, even with Vel to some extent, is this people are suspicious of fucking of Luthen at this point. Like, they're really wondering what the hell's going on with him. Like, how do you know all this information? Like, who do you know in ISB? Who's in your network? Are you even fucking like down with the rebellion? Like, can we even trust you at the point that you're willing to like be this unethical in order to win? Like, you know what I'm saying? He's even having to try to convince people like Saw that like this is how it has to be done. this is the price, right? Against something as massive and powerful as an imperial force of the Empire. And so, at that point, Johnny, what I'd be asking you, and then to you, Cyber, would be, I guess, just, what have you thought of that whole suspicion that even Saw has suspicion with him and like his motives?
I think it's very interesting, but one thing I will say is it wasn't the fact of course, convincing Saul, but it was the fact of trying to show him his viewpoint as well. Because look at Saul Guerrero. I mean, like you said before, he was from the Clone Wars. He lost his sister to the rebellion. His rebellion has not stopped since the takeover of his planet, and he's more than willing to do his fair share of slaughtering. I think that after talking with Lutheran, he saw some of himself within Lutheran. Saul Guerrero did. The fact that he saw someone who's willing to get as dirty as he will, who's willing to do whatever it takes to basically fight the Empire. I think that's why when he smiled when he said, "Let's call it war," because he's been down that path. And the fact that I think that one thing that frustrated him was the fact that even Lutheran was like, "I have people inside your group as well." That's when he basically started threatening, "All right, then I'm going to shoot them," and stuff like that. I think once Lutheran was able to calm him down, he was able to get him to see the bigger picture. And like I said, I think Saul Guerrero saw some of himself in him, which was really great. I mean, I love Forrest Whitaker. I think he plays Saul Guerrero fantastically. And I think the fact that we only got him in small little spurts kind of shows the legend of Saul Guerrero. I wonder if he's going to be a big part of season 2. I hope he is. But I mean, like I said, I love that interaction between two forces. One that is willing to get his hands dirty in the public, no matter who sees him and what happens, and one who's willing to do it in the background.
No, and you know what, Johnny? It's not just that. Also, it's also the fact that, Saw has a reason to be suspicious of Luthen, because in the past, Luthen has been soft with stuff. You know what I mean? Like, not been willing to go with Saw in the past on like killing people and shit and really dangerous, offensive, powerful, attack type stuff. He's not wanted to be down with the war. So he's got a reason to be suspicious at that point. And that's one of the things that I wanted to direct to you, Cyber, is that Luthen has to individually approach every single person that he deals with in the rebellion, with their, with everything that's going on. Mom Martha, Cassian, right? Val, right? All of it has to all be handled in a different way, almost. I find that very interesting. So my question to you would be, what did you take out of that scene, out of the fact, and what do you think of Forrest Whitaker, of Saw, about in season 2 and whatnot, and the fact that he was in such a limited amount of space in the series? And then as far as that dialogue, did you what was your take on it?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear my name. Anyways, so what did I think of the dialogue with Forrest Whitaker? That whole sequence was really done well. I really enjoyed it. I thought that was one of the best parts of this episode. And just the dynamic between Forrest Whitaker and Stellan Skarsgård just worked really well. And I liked how when Stellan came in, you could tell, as soon as you looked at Stellan, you could tell there's something he has negative he's got to tell him. And, Forrest Whitaker's kind of like, he's getting everything all ramped up, ready to do this mission and all this stuff. And then basically, Lutheran has to basically tell him that he shouldn't do it. And just how they came up with the scenario just was really well worked out. And I thought Forrest did a great job of bringing that to life and giving us this really great performance in that sequence. His expressions, his look, everything that he presented in that sequence, I thought was some of the best acting on this series so far. And, Stellan, like I said in previous, reviews, Stellan is always going to be fantastic, dynamic, amazing, no matter what he does. He could stand there and not utter a word, and I still would think he was doing the best acting he could, because I just like Stellan Skarsgård that much. And even just his expressions in that sequence, you could tell just what he was doing, and it was so well conceived and well done. And to basically kind of how limited Forrest Whitaker's character got, he had a pretty big part in Rogue One. So I don't think I think if he does come back for the next, season, I don't think it's going to be any bigger than it was in this season. Because because he really doesn't do much until what happens in Rogue One. So I think it's going to be more about like he just happens to come across him again at some point and needs him for a job of some sort or something like that. And that's what I foresee Forrest Whitaker coming back for the second season.
Excellent, and I really hope that that's how things do play out. I do. Now, essentially, what ends up happening from there is that we get, essentially, Cyril Karn again, just kind of chilling. Luther reaches out to Clea about, and is told of Marva's death and whatnot, and everything, and Clea. Luthen used the shop like code speech that they use to like try to that they use to communicate, to try to relay messages, which I thought was interesting. So now we've got Luthen is now alerted that he needs to go to Ferrix. Everything's boiling up; it's building up throughout the episode, and essentially at that point, Luthen's held up by the Empire, by like a essentially a patrolling like ship or whatever. And they're patrolling space because of rebel activity. Sends his ID code, tries to play off cool. It takes a while for them to process the code, and the officer running the patrolling ship essentially is like, they go ahead and tractor beam him, and he's stalling and fucking around and talking to his AI and preparing for whatever happens next. And even when the ID code comes through clean, the supervisor, the officer says, go ahead and board him anyway, for practice or whatever. And they think that like whatever Luthen's working with is some little bitch ship or whatever. Well, right from jump, we then get fucking what is like, again, they just pick such great spots in these series to slip in these scenes. It's such good timing. We get this wonderful spaceship battle between, a couple of those I forget what those type of ships are that the Empire
TIE fighters.
TIE fighters, like said, two of them after Luthen. After Luthen activates his self-defense or whatever, or like mode or whatever on his ship, and he starts shooting at the fucking the space patrol ship and whatnot. And we get this wonderful battle, visually stunning, looked great, well shot, and Luthen's ship is sick. Like he's got some serious shit going on. He hyperspaces, he's gone. He's out. And from there, of course, Cassian contacts Zan or whatever, on Ferrix, to tell him he's on his way over to see Marva. Finds out Marva's dead. And essentially seeing, I guess, Cassian Dio Lugo's facial expression of accepting for that moment that Marva was dead, I found very powerful myself. I thought that was the most emotional moment I ever saw from him. I've ever seen him act in the series or overall. He reflected his pain very well, his connection very well with his facial tone. But either way, tells Melshi everything's okay. Doesn't say anything about Marva. Marshy's essentially he simply says in their final conversation, people need to know about this. What happened on Narkina 5, right? They need to know. And Cassian agrees. He doesn't even need to be here anymore, right? That's it. He knows. They split up. They hug. They split up. They're gone. And from there, right at that point, it's obvious Cassian's ready to fight back, I think. He blames the Empire for Narkina 5. You know what I mean? That experience really kind of, I think, affected him deeply. I'm sorry. I guess we lost Keith. Oh,
he had to go.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry about that, Keith. I didn't even notice that there was anything going on in the private chat. But we appreciate you, man. Either way, so bottom line, at that point, we get into basically you know, right off the bat off that, we get this, you know, I guess, where are we at here? Oh, we at that point basically we get the end of the episode. You know, that's basically it. That's the gist. That's the bottom line, you know, as you get that facial expression. End of episode 11. So, geez, I thought there was more, but I was wrong. Anyway, so final thoughts, guys, off this chunk of the episode that I know is a lot. I don't mean to put this much on you, but you know what I'm talking about, what I was laid out and whatnot. We're talking about the space battle we get there with, you know, where Luthen gets hung up, leaving Saw, and that whole deal, how it looked, how well it was done, whether you didn't think it was that well done. Luthen's ship, Cassian experiencing the, you know, and seeing him accept the death of Marva, you know, and then of course, obviously, you know, besides that, the conversation with Clea and this climax that we're getting, that this buildup where everything is working its way up to episode 12 and involving Marva's death, and everyone's looking for Cassian. Kyle.
First of all, you have one of the top 3 scenes of this show happen here now with the battle between Luthen and his ship and this Imperial ship that's trying to investigate him. It was one of the coolest space scenes I've seen in Star Wars in a while. The countermeasures that he had to take out the radar dish, seeing him with having the dueling lightsabers basically on his ship, something we haven't seen since, I believe, Clone Wars. That was all absolutely amazing. And then just building up to what we know is going to be the conclusion in episode 12, seeing Andor's emotional reaction to finding out Marva is dead. And I think it's a combo. It brings everything he's been through to light, because now he feels like he can't go back to see Marva, obviously, and tell her what some of the conclusions he's come to. And I think he blames now the Empire for missing his mother's death. And so
yes,
we have that emotional stake. But I mean, just wrapping up with that, such a classic starfighter scene, Star Wars starfighter scene, and that just is so incredibly powerful and so sets up all the mechanisms that are going to be coming in the finale in episode 12.
Most definitely. I think that's very important. That's exactly what I took from it, is that it was a key moment to really see that connection in his face, that he connects the Empire to her death, right? And at that point, Cyber, your thoughts on that whole session of the episode, and then also, Cyber, what have you thought, I guess, of you know, would you agree that do you believe that was the moment where it really hit him, that like he maybe blamed the Empire for Marva's death?
So this final battle sequence is where it really interests me finally for this episode. Between the scene with Forrest Whitaker and Stellan Skarsgård leading into this really is when the episode got really good for me. I have noticed that the latter half, the last third of the episodes, is what really entices me and really I find enjoyable about Andor. And this sequence, that battle sequence, was really awesome. Watching Luthen, you know, basically get his ship ready to kind of do some defensive movements and then be able to get off into, you know, hyperspace basically, was just really amazing. And just his reaction and everything he was doing to basically deter them while he's getting those things all put together was really awesome too as well. And I would have to agree with Kyle that was one of the best fighting sequences in this series up to that point. And leading into the last section of the episode where, you know, Cassian finds out that Marva has died, do I think that, you know, he realized that about the Empire? No, I don't agree with that. I just think that he realized that, you know, the Empire is evil and it's evil. I think he's thought the Empire has been evil this whole time. I don't think it really dawned on him because of Marv dying. I don't think that really influenced it or anything like that. I think he already had that in his mind that it was evil. But I do think that it pushed him to basically what brings part of the Rogue One film. Most definitely. I think that was part of what made him decide to finally join the cause. Most definitely there. But I don't think that it has to do with him thinking, oh, the Empire is so evil. I think he already thinks that. I think he already believes that. But I didn't really find that ending very emotional. I didn't really feel bad, because like I said, I feel in previous episodes, last time we saw Marv, she looked ill, she looked sick, and we knew she was going to die. So it was like we were kind of already prepared for it. So it wasn't as emotional to me, I would say, but it definitely was interesting to see Andor's kind of his expression when it happened. But I feel he just kind of kept it in, and I feel that, that's just Andor and how he perceives things, and that, it's not as emotional to him as it might seem, but at the same time, I think it is. So it's kind of like he like mixes and matches it for himself to a certain extent, and he kind of like does it on his own at his own time when he really feels like he needs to let loose or whatever to get rid of those emotions. So I think that's kind of how that brings out. But all in all, really great ending to the episode, and overall, I thought a pretty decent episode.
Johnny, my friend, your thoughts?
I gotta say, well, the TIE fighter scene was definitely interesting. It kept bringing up an important question on how rich is this man and who exactly designed his ship? Because again, Lutheran is wrapped around mystery. So with his AI, with his safeguards put into place for this type of situation, I just kept thinking to myself, what the heck does this guy have, and how prepared is he for any type of situation? I mean, heck, his shop could be wired to blow with like pods or whatever for him to escape. So that's the thing that kept going through my mind. And when it came to Andor basically coming to the planet, realizing that his mom was dead, I think one of the biggest things he did was also blame himself. Because remember, in the before he got arrested, before going to that Blue Beach planet, he tried to get his mom to get away, and everything that happened, the Empire coming to the planet, everybody basically being arrested, him having to run away was his fault because he wanted to look for his sister. So I think besides, of course, blaming the Empire, he also blamed himself for not being able to be there, because it was his running away that put him on the prison planet in the first place. So I think that's one of the biggest things that was a big takeaway for me towards the ending as well.
Okay, most definitely. And at that point, Jasmine, it's good to see you, hon.
Hey.
Jasmine, of course, is here to do episode 12, the finale. And Jazz, before I go ahead and let Kyle go, and Johnny, I think you're gonna dip too, right?
Yeah.
And I let them kind of like give their thoughts on episode 12. Why don't you go ahead and really quick and just let us know briefly what your thoughts were on episode 11?
On episode 11, nothing really surprised me. There was like her death didn't really bother me at all. I knew it was coming. It was just kind of like an end all to be all situation. I'm trying to remember if the funeral was episode 11 or not.
No, the funeral was episode 12.
That's 12? Okay. Well, just basically seeing how the Empire varied much when it came to their ships, especially when seeing the guy from the MCU who played the Doctor in his ship, and just seeing he can utilize so much. And it feels like he must be really wealthy, because the way he was able to take out that tractor beam and basically flee and defend himself against, their onslaught was pretty amazing and pretty impressive for someone working by themselves in that situation. So I definitely kind of wished I got to know more of him. I know he keeps his identity and his personal life close to the vest, but it's one of those things that was interesting in this episode to try to gain a little bit more of what his dealings are outside of what is it? Where's the capital?
Coruscant.
Coruscant, thank you. Of Coruscant, because we mostly have seen him working on Coruscant and seeing his dealings and his and the lady behind the desk, seeing their initial dealings in Coruscant and just how they interact with people and how they're obviously being very closely guarded and watched. And now seeing him not being watched and seeing how he handles himself was pretty impressive. That was like the one thing I took from episode 11.
Okay, that's cool. Most definitely. Did you did you not enjoy the episode?
It was okay. It was like a soft filler. It wasn't like a complete filler episode, but overall, it did feel like a filler episode when it until it started to wrap up with, the action coming in.
Sure, and I just want to point out that Cyber, I kind of got the vibe that you maybe didn't hate it, but like didn't really think it was all that impressive. Maybe episode 11, and that's fine. I looked at a couple articles, just really quick read what they had to say about it, and it was hit or miss. I read two or three articles. Two of them thought that it was like okay, it was tolerable, but it wasn't anything great. The other one thought that it was garbage, that it was basically like the worst episode in the series. So, what can I say? I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was anything freaking like that blew me away. But it just reminds me of just the cohesiveness of the series from episode to episode is something I'm impressed by, if that makes sense. I really am. The fluidity of it is something that I don't see in Marvel Disney Plus series a lot of times lately, especially in general. Really, I don't see that fluidity, that level of suspense buildup in that way. But either way, I'll go to you first, Kyle, since you've been on the Bleeding Edge panel more times than Johnny, so you outrank him. At that point, sir, your thoughts on episode 12 before we let you go and do your plugs?
Yeah, so as far as episode 12 goes, in my opinion, it is one of the key points of Star Wars that's maybe ever happened. It has, in my opinion, one of the top 3 moments in modern Star Wars history with Marva's speech and the emotional impact that speech has. What I like about episode 12 too is while a lot of things happen, it also continues setting itself up for season 2, and we get the tie up of certain story arcs, particularly I think with Andor and Luthen, but we also have the start of maybe some possible new story arcs with Deidre and Cyril and what could happen there. What's going on with Bix and just what's going to happen with Mon. There's a lot of great things in there, but I think as a season finale, episode 12 really truly delivered some of the most powerful Star Wars we maybe have ever seen as far as just emotional impact and seeing what I think a lot of people are going to consider this was the moment the rebellion really reached a new level and became the rebellion per se, like a lot more of a known quantity in the universe that, hey, this is happening. Here's what's going on. And it's just, I go back to it. I think Andor itself was a brilliant show that has given us a side of Star Wars and shown that Star Wars doesn't always have to be written on the same level, that we can have different Star Wars for different mindsets and different people, and it's okay. And it adds something to the dynamics of the universe of Star Wars and gives us a more expansion onto it, much like Rogue One did, much like I even think Solo did, in giving us a different feel for the Star Wars universe. And I think that's something we need more of, is that diverse of storytelling feeling in Star Wars, and Andor delivers on that perfectly. I want to thank you guys for having me on here to talk some Andor. It's been fun as always. You can find me, of course, on the Fandom Podcast Network, which you can find at fpnet.podbean.com, or visit our YouTube channel, Fandom Podcast Network. And you can find me personally on Twitter at @KyleW.
Most definitely. We appreciate you, Kyle. Thank you very much, brother. It's been good to
Thank you guys. Everybody take care.
You too. And it's been great recording with you so much lately, man. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Now, Johnny, you're up next, brother. Have at it, man.
So the one thing I loved about episode 12, again, was Marva's speech. One thing I loved, and I read this in an article, she was supposed, they originally wrote her to drop the F-bomb, like F the Empire, but of course they didn't put that in there, which I thought would have been hilarious. One thing I did like was during the speech, even afterwards, you just had just the tension building up. And when the guy went up there and started banging the drums, it's just started. Especially when they try to stop him and they just whacked the dude off the tower was really good. One thing I did like was the fact that the explosion of energies between the two sides. You saw the Empire just slaughtering the civilians, not caring for who they hit. One thing I did like was Cyril's and what's her name? ISB agent. Deidre. I just love the fact that he was the one who, like, the dude was basically a creeper until he saved her, and it was kind of like, well, are they gonna kiss now, or what's going on here? And it like left stuff open for season 2 to happen, and just seeing everyone's reaction. Like, you had a Lutheran even at the end, basically going back to his ship because he couldn't find Andor, and Andor already being there and saying, "Let's do this for real. I'm serious." And just seeing all the other characters that were also important escape the planet. Bix, his best friend, and some of the other people, and BMO and stuff like that was really great. I think as a season finale, it did a great job to really show just the explosion of what the people can actually do when they feel cornered. Similar to what happened in episode 3 of Andor as well. So really loved it. Thought it was fantastic. And yeah, that's what I thought about the episode. If you guys want to hear more about my opinions, I'm on wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Google Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Stitcher. Just look up Flint Chat with Johnny Flint, and I'll be there.
All right, most definitely, Johnny. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. You guys have a blessed one.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, bye.
Well, there you go. And at that point, we're down to 3, folks. What up, Jazz?
Hey, Jeff.
It's good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too.
And so hey, here we go. We got the finale. Let's do it, baby. And Cyber, I'll be trying to be very respectful about time and whatnot and everything. It's what, 11:21. There's no way I can pull it off completely by midnight. But if any point, if you got to drop off for the last part of it, whatever, just let me know, bro. I don't, I can handle it out. I can finish it up.
Well, certainly, sir.
I just don't, I don't know what your schedule is like and whatnot this week. I don't know if you got to work tomorrow or whatever, so I'm trying to.
I do.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be cognizant of the fact that you got to get up in the morning.
Yep.
And considering that fucking you're already like physically damaged and weak from like getting down by She-Hulk even for a couple minutes that one night.
Man, I know. It's such a traumatic moment.
Somebody should make a movie about an inspirational movie about how I took the brunt of the She-Hulk fucking domination myself to save Cyber. You know what I'm saying? But in real life, I liked it. You know what I mean? Like I enjoyed it.
I knew it.
Like, like a true life story. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe I'll get an Oscar from the same people that nominated Chloe Zhao. So there you go. Either way, I think they should have Chloe Zhao direct Andor season 2. Personally, that's what I would do. Hey, we definitely know it would be interesting, right? Here's a question for you guys, Jazz. Who do you think would do a better job with directing Andor season 2, Jar Jar Binks or Chloe Zhao?
Who's Chloe Zhao?
There you go. That's all I need. That's perfect. Great response. Cyber, same question to you, sir.
I would pick Jar Jar over Chloe Zhao. I think he's got a more Oscar-worthy approach to this. And just to let Jasmine know, Chloe Zhao is the director of the Eternals.
Oh wow. Oh my God. I'm sorry, I didn't know who directed it. So I feel bad. I like that movie. So I mean it had some
what happened to that
pacing, but I think that's mostly had to do with the script writing.
Did she take her breasts off that day to let him rest or some shit? I mean, what happened, man? Like, seriously. I mean, she's not just flat chested, she's inverted.
Who?
In the chest area. Oh, old fucking Chloe.
She's Asian.
You do realize Jeff? She's the same age as you.
What's your point?
You do realize that, like,
she's that developed at age 40?
Yep.
Oh man. Well, you know what? Her breasts are still bigger than my tiny penis, so it doesn't matter, right? It's all good. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, let's go on with Andor here, sir.
Yeah. So, anyways, folks. So basically, as far as the finale of Andor goes, now we already know for a fact that Cyber must have liked it better than episode 11. There's no question about it. Like, it wouldn't matter whether Jar Jar directed it or Chloe. To be honest with you, it would have been better. It would have been all good. But basically, the finale of episode 12. I'm just going to try to be really quick with this. I'm not going to do a ton of small talk, verbiage, articulating these scenes, fleshing them out. You guys watched the finale. I'm just going to go very core, very basic with the themes of and kind of flesh out my questions based off, I guess, probably just 3 or 4 sections of the episode. Because it's a very simple episode. There may be a lot of scene flipping, but it's all about the same shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Like, some of it's interesting, some of it's not. Let's be honest there. Either way, as far as, episode 12 goes. Oh, and before episode 12, I got something for you guys that would be interesting. And don't worry, it's nothing crazy. I'm not going to play some special crazy video or whatever, some crackhead video. No, what I wanted to actually read really quick was basically the speech that we get from Marva in the if I can find it, maybe I'll be able to do it. Oh, Luthen's speech from episode 10. Okay, to I forget the name of the ISB spy, right? That works with Deidre. But what he said to him, when he asked him, when he told him how much he sacrificed, what did you sacrifice for the rebellion or whatever? He said, calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I've made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago, from which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to fight, they set me on a path from which there is no escape. I yearn to be a savior against injustice without contemplating the cost. And by the time I looked down, there was no longer any ground beneath my feet. What is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. And the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything. And that is some deep shit, yo. Like, seriously. Just reading it like this, not even hearing him say that shit is freaking crazy. That's some seriously good writing right there. Like, literally. Disney should have paid that. Whoever wrote that, they should have literally traded Cunt-Face Kit for him to write Willow, right? As a, what I'm saying, as a trade, but whatever. That's just my take, anyways. They could have used Willow could have used whoever wrote that. And then this is actually from episode 10, Attack. Andy Serkis on basically talking about Tony Gilroy talking to him, the character arc of the character and what they wanted from him. This is Andy Serkis. I had Tony talk me through that. He talked me through the whole arc of the character. And so obviously I knew when I was reading the script that it would arrive at that point. And so really throughout the 3rd episode that I'm in, it is with this trepidation that he faces the jailbreak. And that's a sacrifice. That was what was interesting to play. The drive to get these people off the ship. Once it became a possibility, and then knowing that there was going to be no escape and no way out for himself, building up to that moment when we shot that, I was carrying that fear and phobia and knowing that there was going to be an edge that he would get to the point that he could go no further. that was really thrilling to play into, to build up to. And it was amazing because everyone did jump off that drop. There were mats below, but everyone jumped. All the actors. There was quite a drop, and just watching everybody go forward and sort of having to push against the tide was quite thrilling to actually play. So I just wanted to put that out there and whatnot and everything. Just as I thought it was interesting. That's all. There's some really interesting poignant speeches that play out throughout the course of the series. And of course, you know, a lot of it I'll just save on for a later show. But basically, in the finale, right off the bat, to start off, essentially, if I understand correctly, if I remember, we start off with, I believe, I apologize, Mom Martha, and her husband, right? Back in like whatever you want, not their limo, but whatever the hell that is. That ship that's like a limo or whatever, with their driver. And they have a discussion, you know, an argument that's interesting because essentially, you know, she's pissed off at him because he's gambling, right? And he said he wouldn't. And I guess he must be fucking chicks too, right? He's philandering also as well. And Mom Martha vocalizes and says, we had an agreement here. You know what I mean? In this situation, you know what I'm saying? So this to me, I find this interesting because this connects to this sort of heritage type that they have with this arranged marriage stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if dynamics like that would probably be pretty common within that type of deal, to tell you the truth. But either way, it just kind of in a way, I thought reflects with Mom Martha what she has to accept because of what she's going to put her daughter through, possibly. You know what I'm saying? Like in her, you know, like what's right there. You're shown what she's going to be putting her daughter through. And so at that point, we go on from there. Vel gets to Cinta, gets to Ferrex. Vel tells Cinta to walk away from the window. As Cinta is like all hyped up and excited and like, you know, letting her know what she's noticed and what she's seen throughout, you know, the Empire build up, all the activity going around the funeral. Now Vel doesn't speak, right? It's the scene is cut right there. You don't hear what Vel has to say. And at that point, you know, right there, I'll ask you, Cyber. I wasn't really sure at any point what do you believe that she conveyed right there to Cinta? Was she letting they already knew they were going to kill Cassian, right? Or was she telling her right there, we're killing Cassian today?
I think it was just more of like a general kind of like nod almost. Like, I mean, I think she already knew that. I think it just was kind of like Val was kind of just confirming it.
Okay, I see. Maybe they didn't want to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, I you could definitely tell Val went into it, so you could definitely, you know, see it in Val's eyes. You could see it in her gesture and her mannerisms that she's not all about it, but she's doing it because that's what Lutherans told her to do.
Sure. And what did you think of that opening scene, of that dynamic and that back and forth between the husband and Mom Martha?
You know, honestly, I found it just kind of repetitive, and I didn't care too much for it. I didn't think it was anything that great. Yes, definitely the actress that plays Mom Martha, I think she's great. I think she does a good job. That Weasley guy that plays the husband, I think he does a good job of playing his particular character too. But overall, I just thought it was kind of unnecessary having that dynamic going on at the beginning of the episode. I just didn't find it entertaining at all, and I thought the story could have moved along without it. But I get why they were doing it. I get kind of, you know, the idea behind it, but at the same time, I just don't find it very entertaining.
No, I understand that. And honestly, I didn't find it entertaining either. I just did see the connection. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did grasp it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what they were trying to do by it. I got the concept of it, and that I found interesting. Jazz, what did you think of that? What did you think of basically, I guess, that quick scene with Vel and Cinta and their relationship and them pairing back up again? And then what were your thoughts of that between that conversation with Mom Martha and her you know, picked husband, arranged husband?
As like the flashback, or are you talking about?
No, the conversation they have in the beginning of the finale, where you.
Oh, you mean in the tunnel?
No, in that like ship in that spaceship they fly around and they have the driver like the limo.
Oh, okay. On Coruscant.
Yeah, where Mom Martha's bitching at him because he's fucking chicks and whatnot and everything. He's gambling and whatnot, and they agreed that he wasn't going to do that.
That wasn't Mom Martha, was it?
Yeah,
I thought that was just the Coruscant lady.
that's Mom Martha.
Oh, I thought Mom Martha died. Anyway,
You're thinking of Marva.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so yeah, that conversation, it was pretty obvious that he had some kind of addiction, especially when it came to his social status and him trying to maintain said status while she's working more on the fact that she's trying to fund for the rebellion while he's just trying to live this lavish lifestyle and stay relevant. So her confronting him on that, I think that's really good on her part, because he was kind of stealing money from her dealing she's trying to deal with, and now she has to kind of sell off her daughter because of his gambling addiction.
That's not what the reason why she had to sell off her daughter or whatever has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that
I figured that's why he was dipping into her money.
Yes, no, that also has to do with money that she was trying to to launder for the rebellion. To pay for the rebellion.
She wasn't laundering her own money.
No, that wasn't her money. That was money that she is essentially, her job is to funnel money.
Okay. Then I misunderstood that. But
yes.
But yeah, I did think that her confronting him was a good thing, because I didn't care for him as a character. They kind of built him off as this like slimy
you understand they
guy,
have an arranged marriage, right? Like they probably don't even have sex.
Huh?
They have an arranged marriage. I doubt they even have sex.
Oh, probably, but I did like the fact that she was talking to him about it, and I very much enjoyed the fact that the limo driver was totally. He was like, "I'm gonna roll up this window, but I'm still listening." That was hilarious. I thought that was funny, because I was like, I never understood how limo drivers could just drive silently with like music blasting in the front when people are doing stuff in the back. I know damn well I'm nosy. So knowing that he was a nosy man and he was all up in their business makes me very happy.
He's probably listening to Cyber's podcast. That's all.
Huh? Wait, what?
He's probably listening to Cyber's podcast. He was busy. Inside joke, Cyber. Inside joke, brother. Come on now. So basically, at that point, we get what I think is I really enjoy this stuff. I really do. I don't know what y'all have to tell me what you think of it, but the voice of essentially I'm trying to think of who the character is or whatever. Oh, I don't know who the character's name was, but the voice of someone that Cassian knows from the past that helped teach him how to like basically fix parts and like smuggle and like fix ships and shit and whatnot and do all that. You hear his voice in his head, and we actually experience a flashback for the first time. We hadn't had one in a couple episodes. We get a flashback again, and basically, Cassian is sitting there and he's with his old ship on Ferris. He's there. He's like touching his old ship and whatnot and everything. And the words that this person, his old friend, are in his head, they relate perfectly and connect to what's going on, like perfectly in this situation right now for Cassian. It's not for that purpose, but that's what that's where it translates. And at that point, Pegla pops in. Cassian wants to know where mom's body is. And of course, at that point, Pegla explains the funeral process and whatnot and everything. And from there, basically Cassian hooks up with what's his name? I apologize. Why did I scribble his name? Our buddy from Ferris. That's his friend. What the hell is his name? This is gonna drive me crazy. Anyways, bottom line, whatever his name is there. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. I apologize. Then Cassian runs across essentially, what the hell? I like misspelled it or some shit. Oh, Gither or whatever. Who knows the hell that even says? He finds out about Bix. Essentially, he finds out that what Bix is, what's going on with Bix, and or something. I don't know what the hell I don't know what the fuck I wrote here. Oh, the Nemec thing. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Nemec, the rebel, back from the heist and everything and whatnot. Nemec dropped this really profound sort of speech or whatever and whatnot and everything, and talked about his manifesto that he was writing. And at that point, they do the same thing where they basically play Nemec talking and reading that speech from that episode, like I think either the day of the heist. And right at that point, it's not in Cassian's head, it's not in Luthen's head. It's being played over us just seeing Luthen. Just in a scene, just seeing Cassian just sitting there. And they replay that Nemec speech. And it's really profound. It really is. And I tried to find it, to tell you the truth, but I don't think I was able to actually. Oh, no, I think I did find it. It is, let's see. Do I have it? Let's see. No, I don't. I'm sorry. I'll look later and see if I have it. But either way, I really enjoyed some of these different, things they added to the finale where they did, kind of play things like Nemec's words on top of those scenes. And now we see the Imperial troops and the ISB, setting up, kind of like strategizing, on barracks, talking about the trap they're setting and whatnot, and the fact that they're going to get Cassian. And Deidre's just repeating over and over, she wants him alive, no matter what, right? She wants him alive. She wants access. And Cassian's the key to access, and she knows that. That's not, she doesn't have a personal thing with Cassian. At that point, basically, we get, I believe his name is Devlin, speaking with Clonus at ISB about Mom Martha. These are ISB people, about Mom Martha and her husband. And they have this kind of little bullshit session that basically kind of, I guess, indicates that they know that Mom Martha, they suspect Mom Martha at that point. I think they know that something's going on with her, is what I took from that. Now, I could be wrong, and you guys are more than welcome to let me know if I am, Cyber Jazz. But I got from that little take that, like, they're not really concerned about the husband. They're kind of following both of them. That Mom Martha's being, they know, like, we already believe that they know who Mom Martha is with the rebellion to some extent. Either way, right there, we then get into the ISB talking about having matched Aldani in the heist and whatnot by killing Krieger's people and Krieger, right? As Luthen wanted to happen, the failed operation. Now, and he responds exactly as Luthen expected, the ISB head, and tells Deidre, access, get access. Luthen prepares the rebels, to kill Cassian, straight up, on barracks, just straight up. This is the operation, kill Cassian. And right there, I'll stop it. So, go to you, Jasmine. Really, for you, I guess, what did you think and what did you take out of those scenes? And then, I guess, to be more centered or more specific, what did you think? Did you enjoy the flashback scene Cassian had? And then did you enjoy, hearing Nemec, played over his like whole, thing from his his whole manifesto and whatnot that he was writing about, about how much, why the Empire needed to be destroyed and beaten and whatnot and everything. Did you enjoy that type of deal?
Yeah, I think it was interesting and it gave a little bit more depth to each character in every situation. But honestly, those situations in general felt like filler for me. Like, I didn't really care about those situations because me personally, I was just ready for some action at this point. Because at this point, this entire show has been filler, 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 action, filler, 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 action, filler, filler. I'm like, damn, there's more action in porn than there is in this. Like, it's okay. Those individual situations were nice. Were they needed in the finale, though?
What type of porn?
Could they have not have been put in the 11th episode so that we could have gotten more action in this episode? Because honestly, the action sequence felt kind of shortchanged for me. So I feel like they did too much talking for me.
Well,
too much talking, too much makeup time for anything they needed to close for each one of those storylines. That's just me, though. I may be wrong.
Okay.
I felt like catch up.
What type of porn do you know of where there is no action in it, where there's at all? Like, what do you know of a type of porn that they're making where?
Oh yeah, movie porn.
Oh,
it's the one where like I'd rather watch the plot than the porn because the porn's horrible. They faking it. I'd rather
I had no idea that they were doing porn now where there's no actual sex or like anything, like nothing happens.
No, they have sex in it, but a lot of the time the plot's better than the sex scenes because they spent so much money on the costumes, the location,
I got you, most definitely. So, Cyber, do you agree? Were you bored by that shit too?
Oh, most definitely, sir. Once again, it's just too much information. I don't need all this to get to the story punchline. It's like make it short and sweet and to the point, and then get to some action. You know, it's all about. It's not about storytelling because Star Wars has always been about the action, lightsabers, the ATFs, the TIE fighters, all that kind of stuff. That's what Star Wars has always been that I recall. I mean, George Lucas did not, he set out to make a space opera, but he didn't set it to make it a space opera, which is basically what I feel Andor and most of the parts of Andor have become. And it's too much. Like I was saying earlier, if you wanted to do that storytelling, you could have done it in 10 episodes. Why'd you go all the way to 12? Why did you need these two other episodes to, basically what you could have already covered? And instead of, focusing, like I was saying, like I've said too, I feel that the episodes being an hour long almost, they could have cut them down to 40 minutes, to 35 minutes even, and you could have gotten way better with the 12 episodes versus the hour-long episodes up to 12. I mean, this is 16 hours worth of material. I mean, that's a lot of material to be covering in a series, especially the first season as well, which they could have put into a second season if they wanted to. And I just, when it gets too much story, it just becomes boring and it becomes too repetitive and slow. And then you're not entertained at all. Because when I go into Star Wars, like I always say, I want to be entertained by a lot of the prequels I enjoyed more than some of the other films because I thought they were a lot more majority action versus storytelling. So yeah, I would agree with Jasmine. Sorry, I don't know why I was having a brain fart there. Thank you. I agree with you, Jasmine.
Excellent. And now, of course, I'm crying inside now because I think I thought Andor's episode 11 and 12 were just wonderful. I mean, I just watched them right before the show, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so great!" So I feel outnumbered here. Like honestly, I think I might need to go to my safe space. To be honest with you, So just to be clear, I'm gonna have to dip on the show. No, I'm just joking, folks. There's no safe spaces on the MCU's Bleeding Edge, baby. We ain't got none. There's any space you go to with the Bleeding Edge. There's debauchery, fucking sex, fucking crazy shit, crack heads and shit. It's going down. It's all there. There's no way around it. Either way, I'm gonna play the other Andor trailer really quick and give everybody, especially Cyber, that just has been chilling here for a minute, a break. That way, if Cyber wants to grab the drink or go to the bathroom or something like that, he can. So here you go, Cyber, Jasmine. What, Cyber? I'm trying to be nice. We've been live for over 2 hours, man. Plus, I like the Andor trailers.
They're so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied.
They're everywhere. They're watching me now.
Soon enough, these days will end. There will be no rules going forward.
People are standing up.
That's what a reckoning sounds like.
I don't know what happened there, folks. I don't even know. Anyways, whatever. That was. I'm not gonna play that ever again. That was stupid as fuck. I'm not even sure why. I don't even know how the fuck I even got that, man, or why I thought that was even good or whatever. I must have been fucking on acid that day or something. I don't even know. But bottom line, Cyber cannot rock the live stream till 3.5 hour about mark or whatever tonight, whatever he's got to work tomorrow. So Cyber, brother, you tell me, man, what do we as far as the finale goes, I'll just ask you, Jazz, just to kind of shorten things up so we don't have to go crazy live with this or long with this. What do you Cyber, what is it, what out of the finale, what is it that you prefer to really talk about and discuss and whatnot? And then to you, Jazz, I'll just ask you the same question.
So the ending of this episode was fun when the rebels, after Marv's speech from the dead, basically rouse up the rebels and they start kicking butt towards the Empire. That's when it really started getting good. That whole end sequence was just really well done. I enjoyed all the action that happened at the end. The bomb going off was really awesome. The whole thing there leading up to, Andor bringing Bix down to getting away and then going to see Lutheran and having that kind of little conversation with Lutheran. And basically, what is this, some kind of like coup or something? Lutheran says, and he's like, nope, kill me if you're gonna kill me. And basically, how it ends with him smiling was just perfection. How that ended, I absolutely loved that. Solid ending to this episode. Like the last two episodes, I love the endings, but the beginning parts of these are so boring to me. But other than that, I thought the endings were really fantastic. And I thought that overall, the finale was decent. The best part, honestly, was the post-credit scene when we get to see what they were building parts for. We see that it was actually a part of the Death Star, like I mentioned several episodes ago. And all I know is that I was right. I was right, and I was right. And I just have to.
Jar Jar Binks knew that was the fucking Death Star, baby.
Yeah, not everyone agreed with us though, sir. So I'm gonna just gloat here for a second. Yes, I was right. I was right. But yeah, I was excellent. I was so happy that that's actually what it was, and that I was correct, because I was starting to doubt myself there for a second, and then all of a sudden I was like,
listen, we're allowed to be arrogant here and there, brother. Just because we don't like arrogant people, and we already, Jasmine, you may not know as much about it, but Cyber already knows very very well how I feel about people who are really arrogant and like egotistical, like to the point where it's overt and whatnot. Let's just say that they're the only people that ever, Cyber, as you know, you'll confirm, right? They're the only people I have ever a problem with on the bleeding edge, right? They're the only ones ever. They're ever an issue with me and whatnot and everything. And the ones that are completely fucking blatantly, overtly arrogant to the point where like they know that that they think they're better than you. Those types. So no, but me and Cyber don't like to be that way. Neither does Jasmine. But everybody, we're all allowed to be a little selfish and arrogant here and there. So Cyber, you take your win, brother, and fucking shout your shit, talk your shit, have at it, man. But no,
yes, I will take my praise. Yes.
Listen,
yes,
hang out for a minute. Let me ask you a
everyone.
question or two. Jasmine, what did you really take out of the episode, out of the finale, that you think is worth talking about?
Pretty much the only thing I really wanted to talk about was the battle scene. Her doing that speech and then telling them to fight. Really wish she would have yelled, they would have went for that echoing sound, like her yelling and then going for that echo sound of her the sound of her voice going through the crowd, and then they all get angry and just really go riot. Because it kind of felt like a delay. It felt like they didn't really riot or get that pump until he put that damn coat over the robot and they kicked it. And then suddenly they were like, oh, no, okay, we have no problem with you taking over our streets, but the moment you kick a robot, robots right. They're like, robot rights. That's what I felt.
Jasmine, did you connect any that speech to Kilo in episode 10?
To who?
Andy Serkis in episode 10 when he does his speech?
No.
No? I felt the connection there myself. That was kind of similar. When he's like attack, everything whatnot.
Yeah, but this one, it felt, I could feel it because we were with these people in the streets dealing with the Empire slowly coming in and slowly taking over due to the fact that they were so enthusiastically going after Andor. But no, I did not. But I did wish the fight was a little bit more extra. It felt like there was a price issue, like they couldn't go as deep as they could have gone, but technically this was better than the Book of Boba Fett.
Well, no, but on Ferris, you have to understand, the citizens on Ferris are not allowed to carry firearms.
No, I mean, I'm talking about the way that they're fighting, not about it felt they were disposing people way too quickly for even when they don't have firearms. I've seen rebels and citizens make bombs before. So it felt very Disney Plus. Let's just give it that. It felt Disney Plus.
Am I correct? Basically on Ferris, weren't the citizenry not allowed to really display arms in public or something like that or whatever? I never saw anybody have a gun.
Well, don't forget, it was basically run by the Empire, so they really weren't allowed to have really anything.
No.
So I mean, I foresee that's the reason why they weren't really able to fight back. But I mean, at the same time, though, I still think they put up a hell of a ruckus for what they did.
See, now, Jasmine, you tell me, and then I'll ask you, Cyber. I really felt like by the end of the finale that Ferris was always planned to be a launching point for the rebellion for some reason.
Oh, yeah, of course.
For some reason, something about Ferris was special. That where they want. There's a reason. It was all strategic. But Marva's speech is for everyone on Ferris and for Cassian at the same time, which I thought was really powerful. She's speaking directly to Cassian and she's speaking to the people of Ferris at the same exact fucking time, literally, but the message is for both of them at the same time. Did you pick that up, Jasmine? That it was
Yeah, I got that.
Isn't that fucking
I definitely got that. It was just, it's not about the fact that it didn't have, it felt more like, it just felt like a very short, easy battle compared to like other Star Wars franchises, like the Bears from Revenge of the Sith, or was it Revenge of the Sith, or whichever the last Star Wars one of the original one?
You mean the Berenstein Bears?
No, the little teddy bears in the forest. They put up more of a fight.
Teddy bears? You fucking talking about the teddy bears? Are you
from like the original Star Wars franchise, the very last film? They had the little teddy bear people that lived in the trees in the forest. The what?
When you
Ewoks. The Ewoks.
Listen, when you called the fucking Ewoks teddy bears, Cyber he blacked his shit and whatnot because he could not handle it.
They are teddy bears, okay? They are teddy bear people. The Ewoks. Anyway,
refuses to show his face now.
they put up more of a fight than these people did because these people were getting tased and then falling down, getting taken out.
The Ewoks were about as intelligent. They were about as
That bomb did more damage than they did. That's sad.
The Ewoks at the same IQ level essentially as the Tuskens. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't know the
Still though, they bombed. The bomb that went off did more damage than the people did. And there was a lot of them and less of the soldiers. Just because they had guns didn't mean shit.
The Ewoks
like, come on.
The Ewoks would fuck with anybody. They're so stupid, they would fuck with anybody. And be like,
oh, please. And they only hit a few people with those guns, with those stormtroopers, okay? You know how many beams I counted that one stormtrooper was trying to shoot that guy on the other stormtrooper's back?
Yeah, but what the fuck?
12. He shot 12 beams and missed. It was the 13th beam that killed that man.
How did you
okay.
How did you see in a fight scene, an action scene, if only one side of the fucking like fight or whatever had lasers and started shooting people, right? But the other side
12
and the other side had no fucking lasers. Like how
beams. 12.
All right, Cyber. All right, let's Cyber, before you dip, let's do ratings. I'll start, then I'll go to you, Jasmine, then to you, Cyber. I'm gonna give episode 11 I'm going to give it an 8.25. I'm going to give the finale a 9.5. Jazz?
6.5 for 11. A 9 for 12.
Cyber?
I give them both 6s.
You fucking motherfucker.
Because, like I said, half of it was horrible, half of it was good. So I'm good. I'm gonna go kind of in the middle. I'm not gonna give it exactly
6.5, 12.
A 6. I would say 6 is a little better for me. You already said 6.5, so I'll give it a 6. But yeah, I'll give them 6s for both of them because I thought that there was good to it and then there was bad to it. And like I said, I thought the finale's ending and 11's ending were really good. It just, the rest of it was kind of boring to me. So I give them 6s.
Well, just to be clear, folks, I know that I shout all the time about how our mantra is that, like, we care about contrasting opinions and all that kind of stuff. And I do really care about that stuff. I really do. I think that's what makes our shows fun and interesting. But at the same time, though, with Cyber, I don't really like that shit. Like, I don't like it when Cyber thinks that, like, the shit I want, that I rate good, like, he rates it really bad and whatnot and everything. So just to be clear, like, that shit don't work with me in Cyber. Like, I'm actually kind of fucking pissed off right now. I won't lie. Like, the Cyber gave the fucking episode 11 and 12 6s and shit. Like, I'm kind of, like, I'm not lying. I won't lie to you. I'm pissed off. You know what I'm saying?
I deducted for the bullets missing.
All right, Cyber, you out of here, bro?
I'm out of here, bro.
Do you want to hang out for a minute and plug, or do you want to bounce?
I'm gone. Of course, as always, people, if you love me here on the Bleeding Edge, you should definitely check out my solo content under Cyberneticshark. Find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all those great places. You can find me there. And new stuff is coming. You can check out my most recent trailer reaction of the Renfield movie that's coming out in April, starring Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult. It's basically, Dracula kind of type of film that looks really awesome. So definitely check out that trailer reaction. And it's really fun. And as always, been fantastic being on the panel tonight, guys. You guys rock. And see you on the next one, people.
All right. Good job. Good, very professional by me there, managing to get your shit up right when you're about to leave. That's true knowledge, baby. In effect. All right, Cyber.
True knowledge.
Hey, listen,
right.
folks. Don't forget, you're going to see me, Jasmine, and Cyber Friday evening. I believe that's what? Is it 1:20. 1:20 Friday evening, 9:35 p.m. Eastern, 6:35 p.m. Pacific. Willow finale. Jazz will be there. I'll be there. Cyber will be moderating. We'll have a couple other guests on. I think Britt's going to be back. Maybe Britt's crazy fucking fun as shit mama might be on. So it'll be fun. Willow will be fucking over. So that'll be good because me and Cyber and Jasmine won't have to worry about possibly committing suicide anytime soon anymore. At that point, besides that, we have another show on Sunday doing, guess what? Me and Renee, Loki's mom, are going to be killing it, getting after some more Phase 5, Phase 6 preview shit. We're going to be doing Guardians of the Galaxy. So Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We'll be live on everything that we're live on. We'll be doing nothing but Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's all we're doing. There's no point. I don't want to try to cram too much into the show. So Jazz will either be there if she wants to be on there. It's up to her schedule and whatnot and everything, or if she wants to talk about it or not. She's already doing 2 shows this week, everything and whatnot. And you and I still have to talk too about like this whole thing you're doing and whatnot and everything, as far as like Jasmine's going to actually review or react, right? Like react review, I guess, right? The whole Phase 1 through Phase 3 of the MCU.
Actually, I'm going to do a reaction to Phase 1 all the way to Phase 4 because technically they're all out. So I'm going to do all of them because I believe Quantumanium is actually Phase 5, right?
Yes. Phase 5 starts with Quantumanium. Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, I'm doing
Jazz,
Phase 1 through 4. I'm going to post a video on my TikTok of my overall review and to Knives Out, The Glass Onion, because I recently watched that. So until I decide to do my channel, I'm probably going to start posting some of my TikToks, movie reviews in the shorts on YouTube until I eventually get going with my channel initially. But if you guys want to follow me, you can follow me on my Twitter, which is
Jazz. Hold on. What is your Twitter?
Jazzy ZY Products JAZY Products Shun. Production. Jazzy Production on Twitter.
All right, let me pull
which I'm on there a lot.
Here, let me get it up there. I'm sorry about that, sweetie. I should have have this stuff prepared when you come on so I have it ready. There we go. I got it up. Now, if you give me 1 second, I'll scroll down and whatnot and everything and whatnot, and I'll show everything that's on there. There you go, sweetie. Now go ahead and talk. Finish what you're saying.
All right. And so I tweet a lot. I'm on there a lot. I'm very social. I very much have conversations and react to other people's tweets. I am very diverse and very confrontational. So if you like to enjoy yourself some conversations, some funny tweets, I'm your girl. I also am on my TikTok game when it comes to funny videos. And I am going to post my first movie review on my TikTok, and I will then post on my YouTube channel afterwards, which will be my overall review of Knives Out, The Glass Onion.
What the fuck is that?
What's what?
What is it called? Is that a movie?
Knives Out, The Glass Onion.
Knives Out. Oh,
Yeah.
You mean the one
The
with,
sequel to the first one.
Oh, they made a sequel?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Oh, okay, I see. Most definitely. I agree. I'm just saying hi to Coma.
Mm-mm.
There you go, folks. Spreading the love to Coma. That's how we do it. Right, Jazz?
Such a dark.
That's how you build some confidence for a motherfucker. Right? Anyways, so yeah, you know what, Jazz? I'm telling you, folks, I just, it's getting late, honestly. It's 12:10, Eastern time, in the AM at this point and whatnot. And I don't want to keep Jazz up late and whatnot and everything. Cyber already got out of here. He's got stuff to do, whatnot. So, I'm the one out of everybody. I'm the only crazy motherfucker on the leading edge that actually enjoys doing 3 and 4 hour live streams. Let's just be honest here. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I'm lucky to find people that actually want to stick around on the panel long enough to sit with me and whatnot and everything, because I won't lie to you. I don't really like to make solo content that much anymore. I had no problem with it for years and whatnot and everything. But now that I've been doing the bleeding edge for a long time, I like being around other people when I record. I don't want to record by myself anymore. It's boring. You know what I'm saying? Like, I enjoy the social, you know how I am, Jasmine. I enjoy social interaction. Yeah, I do. You know what I mean? Like, I thrive on it. I mean, and it's not like I don't hang out with people in real life. I do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the fact that there is, folks, all the any boasting you hear from me or whatever about what I do in the bedroom or my numbers, or well, I don't talk about numbers, but that I'm getting after it on a regular basis. Look, when I'm single, there's a reason why I have to get tested like 2 or 3 times mandatorily every year. You know what I'm saying? Because I am active. Like, y'all motherfuckers, you do what you do and whatnot and everything. But there's a reason why, like, you talking to chicks on Snapchat, it's getting you in the friend zone on a regular basis. And like, I don't even get friend zone. Like, it's not even a fucking option. So, you know what I'm saying? That's where my game's at versus your game, bro. You know what I mean? So there you go. Just because I like comic books and shit and whatnot, and I'm down with fucking superhero shit, doesn't mean I don't fucking handle my business. You feel me? Some of us nerds will fucking knock you the fuck out, just to be quick. But anyways, Jazz, I'm just talking shit. I'm allowed to brag once in a while. I'm a pretty interesting motherfucker. Don't you agree?
You're dark.
I forgot to brag earlier and talk shit. Why can't I fucking like talk about myself on a positive note for once and everything? I'm so selfless all the time. Whatnot. Why can't I just say something positive about myself? I think I'm allowed. So, anyways, it's look. Let's just say, folks, that True Knowledge, I have not yet gotten laid off being on the bleeding edge yet that I know of, but I will eventually. That's one of my goals. Like, I don't have a bucket list, but I'm looking forward to that happening. And I will definitely announce it immediately the next day on the bleeding edge when it happens. But at the same time, though, let's just say that essentially, if I had the energy at times and the motivation and the drive to just go on the dating sites and shit and whatnot and deal with that bullshit, I probably would fucking like be just killing it. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, folks, unfortunately, I'm 40 years old, and like at this point in my life, I just don't have the fucking energy to deal with that crap sometimes. So, you know what I'm saying? The way I am, it does not translate well through messaging, unfortunately. But Jazz, I'll tell you what, hun, it would behoove you, my dear, to talk to me after the show, since I'm going to cut it early, because I'm cutting it off early, folks, to let you know that you and I need to talk so we can figure out how we're going to do these get together on these reviews that we're going to do, these reactions we're going to do, because I'm interested in them. I want to know how they're going to do them. I'd like to do some of them myself at some point, potentially down the road. You know what I mean? And so figuring out how to know how to do it and whatnot and everything would behoove me. You know what I mean? And I just want to also just take a minute and publicly, just really quick, just instead of just personally put it out there, that I want everyone out there to know that Jazz is an excellent guest. And so, I know for a fact that it's only a matter of time before other creators are probably going to contact me once we do start to collaborate more in the next couple of months, after the holidays are over, and Jazz starts to meet more and more hosts and more co-hosts from different shows and whatnot, eventually somebody's probably going to try to poach her from me, and offer her a better spot, you know what I'm saying, or make her a co-host or some shit like that or whatever. And she may leave, you know what I mean, whatnot. Like, and I won't blame her if she does. You know what I'm saying? I never do. You know, it's happened a lot of times and whatnot on here, and it's part of something you have to get used to, right? When you care about people like I care about Jazz, and she's my friend, and she's a great guest, I think I look at it as a compliment. Personally, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, I just want to see the best for her. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, though, Jazz has done nothing but a wonderful job with us at the Bleeding Edge. She's reliable. She's consistent. She learns and like takes, you know, things seriously when you ask her to do something or change something or make an effort to do something differently, or you make a point or whatever, whatnot. She immediately takes what you say and or acts on it. She doesn't play around. You know what I'm saying? She cares about what she does. It matters to her whether or not she's on a show or not. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. She wants to be on the show. She likes what she does, right? And she's very dedicated and very loyal. You know what I mean? And whatnot, to me and to the Bleeding Edge and whatnot and everything, and cares very deeply that she does a good job. You know what I'm saying? You know, when she guests and whatnot and everything, it matters to her that how she reflects as a guest reflects well on me and Cyber and the Bleeding Edge and whatnot. And those are the things that I care about. You know what I'm saying? There's things like that because those things are tangible. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, so, I mean, at the end of the day, any of you out there in the creation, you know, content world or whatever, you know, Jazz needs to start collaborating and whatnot as she gets her like rebranded YouTube channel going. So it would behoove you to, like, you know what I'm saying, think about maybe contacting Jazz and whatnot and everything and hitting her up and whatnot and try to make some content with her, you know, but be nice to her too. You know what I'm saying? Because just because I may geographically not be close to you or near you or whatever, if you toss some shit to her or whatnot, not only you have to deal with her fucking boyfriend, but then you have to deal with my ass too. You know what I'm saying? And like between me and him, I don't think you really want fucking like the two of us on you. You know what I'm saying? Like they're probably gonna be too positive for you. You feel me? So you know, it's gonna be about as enjoyable for you as it was for Mom Mothma to fucking sell her daughter off as a sex slave. But Jazz, so look on we appreciate you. And thank you for doing Andor with us. Everything, right? And you know, folks, we don't even know what we're gonna do next. But I'll tell you one thing. Here's a little hint. I don't know if you checked it out yet, Jazz, but The Last of Us, I'm hearing good things. It just started. You know what I'm saying? So there you go, folks. That's probably gonna be on the horizon. I'm Jeff S. For Jasmine, for Cyber, for Keith, for Johnny, for Kyle, and for Dodger, our silent third co-host, and you know, I guess everybody that you know is a part of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. We wish everybody a wonderful 2023. We're very thankful for all the support we get and everything and whatnot. Thank you for all the subscribers, and please make sure that you like the video when you catch it in the video version. Please ring the bell, be notified of our live streams and our videos. Please support Jasmine and her content. And, you know, God bless you. And, you know, hopefully we'll see you next time. But maybe you'll come see us on Willow for the shit show that's going to end up being on Friday night. We'll see. Last words, Jazz?
Support.
There you go. I put Jazz in the spot. I feel bad.
Well, I'll give this little cookie an hour before we're doing the no pants dance. Time to musk up.
Wow. Never ceases to amaze me. What cologne you gonna go with? London Gentleman or... Wait. No. Hold on. Blackbeard's Delight.
No. She gets a special cologne. It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries. Yep. It's made with bits of real panther, so you know it's good.
It's quite pungent.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, it's a formidable scent. It stings the nostrils. In a good way.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm going to be honest with you. That smells like pure gasoline.
They've done studies, you know. 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, let's go see if we can make this little kitty purr. Hey, sweet cheeks. Got an invite I'd like to extend your way.
My God. What is that smell? Oh.
That's the smell of desire, my lady.
God, no, it smells like a used diaper filled with Indian food. Oh, excuse me.
You know, desire smells like that to some people.
What is that? It smells like a turd covered in burnt hair.
It's going down.